Stay tuned for details on how to play the singular virtual crew chief during today's race. Watch for your chance to win my payday at the race in Daytona Beach on July 1st.
Getting set to go green in the Auto Club 500 presented by Q Motor Oil. On Fox, let's have a look at today's FedEx racetracks.
Well, DW, let's take a look at this. It's 250 laps, 500 miles, pit road speed. These guys, they didn't have to make a green flag stop at Daytona last week. 55 miles per hour. You heard Jeff Hammond talk about it. 45 to 50 laps in that fuel window.
Pretty easy pit road to get on to. Nice big pit boxes. Shouldn't be any big problems there. But here's where your keys to the race are right here. How are you going to win this race? First thing you got to do, Larry, the driver's got to watch that tack. Take care of the engine. We're going to run 500 miles today.
Absolutely. Take care of those RPM. Adapting to conditions. Being able to move that car around as the track changes throughout this race.
Well, as we said, Larry, that feedback from the driver. My car's doing this. My car's doing that. Thinking ahead. Planning ahead.
And you heard Dick Berggren talk about it in the Busch race yesterday. Maybe not pit strategy necessarily, but that final pit strategy.
Matt Yoakum.
And Larry, Mac talked about pit strategy, but it's also the guys that go over the wall. Now here, Matt Clark in the 24 pit. 6 of his 7 over-the-wall guys this year are new in the current roles they are. Only Jeff Cook, the Jackman, was in that role last year. Their spring training was the duel in Daytona. They won the battle off pit road, and they won their duel. But it could come down to how the driver enters his box. So many things can happen, but these guys are really pumped up about 2006. Steve?
Well, Matt, Mark Martin has a win on this racetrack. Now, last September, he was in contention for the win. The caution flag came out late. With less than 10 laps to go, Kyle Busch came to pit road and took 2 tires. Crew chief Pat Tryson had Mark come to pit road and take 4 tires. Pat said, didn't work out too well for us. Kyle Busch won the race. Mark Martin finished 11th. He learned a lesson. Dick?
Well, you know that Kurt Busch is in the car that formerly was driven by Rusty Wallace, but so many changes on this team. New crew chief, new car chief, new spotter, new engine tuner, new shock expert. This team is really all new. They did well at Daytona. Let's see how well they hang together today and if they can deliver a win for Kurt Busch. Mike?
Ready to race in Fontana, California. The honorary starter is actress-singer Hilary Duff. Her sister Haley is an honorary race official. They and we and you are ready to get this show on the road.
Well, DW, the fans been waiting, and I'll guarantee you I've been waiting for almost 8 months to tell you, reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time.
All right, Larry. All right. Coming to the green, coming to the green. It's out. Buggity, buggity, buggity. Let's go racing, boys.
California style.
Yeehaw. Take her on down in there.
Lap 1 with a lot of 3 wide, middle and back of the pack.
And that's something Kurt Busch wanted to do. He wanted to get those 5 points for leading that lap right there.
4 wide there going down into turn 1, this little crowd right here. But you can do that here. This front straightaway is really, it sets you up for kind of being a loser getting down into turn 1 if you get in the wrong place.
Dale Jarrett.
Started back in the 19th position right now.
Looking back at Jeff Green.
Track conditions are going to be good today. It's a little overcast, not quite as hot as it was when these guys were qualifying and practicing. That's really going to help tighten the cars up, get them a lot of grip.
See Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car. Riding with him down the front stretch, looking out at Scott Riggs in the Valvoline 10 car. Dale Earnhardt Jr. started in the 18th position. That's about where he's running right now.
Let's go to 4th place. Kyle Busch ahead of Denny Hamlin and Jeff Burton. Kyle just passed Hamlin, the rookie, in the 11 a lap ago.
Look at this right here. Matt Kenseth, Jeremy Mayfield, Robbie Gordon.
Yep, 7 is Gordon, 41 Reed Sorensen, 07 rookie Clint Boyer.
And I would definitely keep an eye on that 17 car right there, because he's been passing about 4 or 5 cars a lap. That's Matt Kenseth. Didn't get that good qualifying running on Friday. But watching him yesterday, he was one of the fastest cars, the most consistent cars in race practice.
Ryan Newman on the march, battling Joe Nemechek in the Army 01. 10th place here.
And Ryan Newman in the 12 car, they didn't have that good of a qualifying run, but Darrell, I just believe he and his crew chief Matt Boylan, they are focused on race setup this year.
Yeah, well, they came with the Intrepid, which is different than the Charger. It's an older car, but they like the balance of the car. But I do think they may have to learn a little bit about it, because this is a different aero package than they ran with the Intrepid 2 years ago.
And still a lot of 3-wide racing, as drivers who maybe didn't qualify quite so well jockey to move up, and smoke from, was that Jeff Green in the 66? Must have been a little tire rub going into the corner there.
Well, these cars are, you know, they'll bottom out a little bit, rub a tire up in the fender, particularly early when the air pressure is still coming up.
Greg Biffle, you won't see Biffle very far off the lead much of today. He won yesterday's NASCAR Busch Series race here.
Biffle has the potential to stink up the show.
And this was the type of racetrack. We talked about 2/3 of the schedule being like Fontana. This is a type of racetrack that he really adapted to a lot, as he's up there battling for the lead here on lap 5. And this is the same chassis that he won Homestead with, but it has that new Ford Fusion body that I think is actually a little better than the Ford Taurus body.
Oh, by all means. And I think Kurt Busch in the 2 car, that's a Dodge, it's an Intrepid. See, I think they were looking, here he comes Biffle for the lead. You see he runs off the bottom here. They're going to drag race down the front.
Yeah, Kurt Busch in the 2 lost so much momentum over in turn 4, his car walked up the racetrack with him.
But I think Kurt really is responsible for these guys going back to this older car, because he knew what the Ford Taurus was like. He drove the Charger, he drove the Intrepid. He said the Intrepid's more like my old Ford Taurus was.
Lurking just outside the top 10 is Mark Martin, carrying AAA colors this year on his Jack Roush Racing number 6. He runs in 11th, just ahead of teammate Carl Edwards. Here's Steve.
And Mike, he had some anxious moments early in this race before the pack sorted out a little bit. He said over his radio, "Get me a driver's side mirror out. I'll put it on the first pit stop." It's a little mirror that the drivers use as a side view mirror.
Well, you need that here because of all the side-by-side racing, as you saw early on. Now, what will happen, they'll all try to get single file as soon as they can, because all that is exciting to watch, that side-by-side stuff, but it's no fun for the driver, particularly the one on the outside.
The driver on the outside right now is J.J. Yaley, the rookie in the Joe Gibbs number 18, the Interstate Batteries car. That ride vacated by Bobby Labonte. And Yaley right now is 10th.
Tell you what, we were talking about Matt Kenseth a while ago in the 17 car right there. Started back in 31st position. He's been making a move, but that car up there on the outside, Jimmy McMurray in the 26, he's been making moves as well up there in the 21st position now. Remember, this car right here is the car that Kurt Busch drove last year. It was the 97 car, but now Jamie McMurray in its same team, just a 26 number.
Now, that red car there on the inside with a big old weight on the side of it, he's backing up. He doesn't seem to be real happy with his car right now.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. started 18th, now running 19th, made a little bit of gain early.
Car looked like it looked like it fell off. He took off, looked like he had a pretty good run, and all of a sudden it just started going backwards.
And he was not very happy with his car in practice yesterday, but this was the type of racetrack that was the Achilles heel for this 8 team last year, the high-speed racetracks.
Let's ride along.
That was his spotter, Steve Meal, clearing him. Now, this team enters Fontana, a place where they've really struggled, Mike, like you've mentioned all weekend in the past, but they feel like they were slowly gaining on it, much like Jeff Gordon. They realize they're not going to hit that sweet spot in one weekend, but they're making gains on that 1.5-mile, 2-mile program. They're expecting a good top 10 run today, and that would almost be a victory for them.
Well, they've got a lot of work to do.
I just remember talking to Tony Jr. and he worked with Michael last year quite a bit of the year. I just think that there's two different setups here for Dale Jr. and Michael. They never liked the same thing. It's going to take them a race or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 to get on the same page.
Looking from Joe Nemechek in the 0-1 back at Jamie McMurray. And a big knot of cars behind McMurray. This is 14th place on back.
And there goes Matt Kenseth again. I mean, he's getting 1 or 2 cars a lap, but again, based on watching his car in practice yesterday, he was on the mark. Now, this is a battle for 3rd place with teammates. Kyle Busch in the 5, and you're riding with the Daytona 500 winner, Jimmy Johnson, in the 48.
Well, Kyle Busch likes this racetrack. He got a win here last year. That car is really, really looking good right now.
11 laps complete. Greg Biffle out in front of pole sitter Kurt Busch in the Auto Club 500 presented by Q Motor Oil.